Chapter 1 of Makers of Many Things. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Makers of Many Things by Eva March Tappan. Preface and Chapter 1, The Little Friction Match. Preface. The 4 books of this series have been written not merely to provide agreeable reading matter for children, but to give them information. When a child can look at a steel pen not simply as an article furnished by the city for his use, but rather as the result of many interesting processes, he has made a distinct growth in intelligence. When he has begun to apprehend the fruitfulness of the earth, both above ground and below, and the best way in which its products may be utilized and carried to the places where they are needed, he has not only acquired a knowledge of many kinds of industrial life which may help him to choose his life-work wisely from among them, but he has learned the dependence of one person upon other persons, of one part of the world upon other parts, and the necessity of peaceful intercourse. Best of all, he has learned to see. Wordsworth's familiar lines say of a man whose eyes had not been opened, "A primrose by a river's brim, a yellow primrose was to him, and it was nothing more." These books are planned to show children that there is something more, to broaden their horizon, to reveal to them what invention has accomplished, and what wide room for invention still remains, to teach them that reward comes to the man who improves his output beyond the task of the moment, and that success is waiting, not for him who works because he must, but for him who works because he may. Acknowledgment is due to the Diamond Match Company, Hood Rubber Company, S.D. Warren Paper Company, the Riverside Press, E. Faber, C. Howard Hunt Pen Company, Waltham Watch Company, Mark Cross Company, I. Prouty and Company, Cheney Brothers, and others, whose advice and criticism have been of most valuable aid in the preparation of this volume. Eva March Tappan. Chapter 1. The Little Friction Match. I remember being once upon a time 10 miles from a store, and 1 mile from a neighbor. The fire had gone out in the night, and the last match failed to blaze. We had no flint and steel. We were neither Indians nor Boy Scouts, and we did not know how to make fire by twirling a stick. There was nothing to do but to trudge off through the snow to the neighbor a mile away and beg some matches. Then was the time when we appreciated the little match and thought with profound respect of the men who invented and perfected it. It is a long way from the safe and reliable match of today back to the splinters that were soaked in chemicals and sold together with little bottles of sulphuric acid. The splinter was expected to blaze when dipped into the acid. Sometimes it did blaze, and sometimes it did not, but it was reasonably certain how the acid would behave, for it would always sputter and do its best to spoil someone's clothes. Nevertheless, even such matches as these were regarded as a wonderful convenience, and were sold at $5 a hundred. With the next kind of match that appeared, a piece of folded sandpaper was sold, and the buyer was told to pinch it hard and draw the match through the fold. These matches were amazingly cheap, 84 of them for only 25 cents. There have been all sorts of odd matches. One kind actually had a tiny glass ball at the end, full of sulphuric acid. To light this, you had to pinch the ball, and the acid that was thus let out acted upon the other chemicals on the match, and kindled it, or was expected to kindle it, which was not always the same thing. Making matches is a big business, even if 100 of them are sold for a cent. It is estimated that on an average each person uses 7 matches each day. To provide so many would require some 700 million matches a day in this country alone. It seems like a very simple matter to cut a splinter of wood, dip it into some chemicals, and pack it into a box for sale, and it would be simple if it were all done by hand, but the matches would also be irregular and extremely expensive. The way to make anything cheap and uniform is to manufacture it by machinery. Here's a photograph of the endless match machine. The caption reads, "The match splints are set in tiny holes
Sample complete. Ready to continue?